Kay, and I am back with Scrappin on a Ship. I'm also playing along with May I Scraplift You, and today I am inspired by Crystal Barrett herself, who is the brainchild of May I Scraplift You. So today I will be scraplifting, or I will be scrapbooking these Labadee photos, which is super cool. Labadee has this really giant sign, and a couple gals that took the class on the boat showed up at the same time as Janet and I taking a picture at the sign, and we all picked a letter and was able to get this really cool photo. And then the photographer actually zoomed in on 2 letters at a time. So I'm super stoked about that. All right, I am on my very last kit conspiracy mixed up kit, and I'm just sharing with you guys all of the fun stuff that I have picked out. This one here is Pretty Little Studios Good Vibes papers, some simple stories, simple vintage spring garden stuff, some thickers, some rub-ons and thickers and whatnot, also from Simple Stories. Most of it is the Good Vibrations and the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Garden, Spring Garden collection. So that's what I've got a mix of, which is cool because I don't know, you guys, I've just been mixing these and they just go really well together with certain things. All right, so I took that floral paper and I fussy cut them all out because on Crystal's inspiration, she has a bunch of round objects behind her photo. So I wanted to try to give that a little try. She also created a small border using what looks like scraps from on her layout. So again, I also wanted to give that a try. However, I've got way more photos than what Crystal does. So I also took out my some scraps and double matted a photo, making it look like I have a lot of layers like Crystal does on the back of her one large photo. So I really wanted to kind of lift that as well and pull inspiration from that. So now that I have my layout where I think I got it, I'm still kind of playing along. I really want this big block to be seen and to be prominent, but I want a space to play with. Now, the background paper that I'm playing with is not a pure white paper. It's one of those what's it called? It's one of those, I think somebody told me it's called Irresistibles, which is a close to my heart paper, and it's white with an embossed image on it. So if I was to use ink and ink it up, the embossed side would still stay white, and then I would have color behind it. I love using them as just white. It's so super fun to get that pop of shiny behind your layout. Now I am going to fill the background. Instead of using a burst like what Crystal used, I'm going to take these rub-ons minus the garden images. So I'm cutting out the garden images and just going with the miscellaneous words and whatnot. So I'm going to create a burst of words going on. Now, not exactly the same as what Crystal's inspiration layout is, but still the same. Now, no 2 rub-ons from the companies are the same. With 49 and Markets rub-ons, I can just take my fingernail and rub it around and be able to get the rub-on to stick. Well, these ones, I did not. I actually had to rub like a lot to in order to get these to stick down on the Irresistibles. It was a labor of love, let me tell you. It definitely looks easier than what it is, but it was hard. I'm really, really pressing down on these to get them to stick on the background. I love the fact that they're not legible, so I could mix and match it the way that I am right now. I absolutely love all of that. And it still ends up looking really well. I leave very little white space for my layout. My kids just got home, so if my hands aren't moving, but they're moving, I'm talking to my kids and I talk with my hands. I'm even talking with my hands right now, and you guys can't see them. So I've got a few more rub-ons that I wanted to add to the layout. Now, one of the other things that I really like, even though I am trying to rub the rub-ons on, I like the fact that they're coming off distressed. So it's not a perfect rub-on. So it looks like a faded background. So I really like that as well. And Crystal's burst also looks like a faded burst, almost like a marker drawing, if I'm being honest, which I think was a printed paper from Cocoa Vanilla. That was her background. I cannot be positive, you guys. So another thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put the 4 large photos down at the bottom of my layout, so that way you guys can see us all up close and personal. I love these photos, you guys. And I thought it was so fun that these girls all showed up at the same time as Janet and I were like, what letter are we going to lean against? What letter are you going to pick? I don't know. What do you think? And we already had our mind set on the A, and that's where we were when Tabitha, Jen, Sam, Deborah, and Emmy all showed up to take a photo with us. And it was just so super fun, you guys. I really did enjoy all of everybody popping into our photos. And every time that we got caught in front of one of the photo shoots, we always invited the girls that were walking by and part of our group to be in our group. And it was just so fun, you guys. It really was. I'm glad that we did, because we got to take pictures of, individual gals and whatnot. And so just super fun. Okay. So, I have my photos down. I have my extra matte. I double matted my larger photo like Crystal has on hers. Now, I didn't have as many papers to play with like Crystal did, but I still was able to get that feel of multi-mattes. And then I wanted to take her strips of paper that she has over on the left side and accentuate my strip of photos a little bit more using that same effect. So I'm going to take these branding strips and just the little color that was left on the branding strips and tuck them above and below my photos at wonky angles just to match the rest of the layout, because the rest of the layout is kind of fun and funky and kind of angry. Just that energetic mood and feel, basically. And so I went ahead and did that as well. Like I said, pulling the inspiration from Crystal's layout without actually lifting her layout. I'm just pulling out little bits and pieces. I also liked how she had all of her tiny words scattered about through her layout. And so that's what I did with my labels, is I kind of scattered them, even though I only had 3 to play with and I don't have a whole lot of labels going on. And then here's where I'm going to add the circular elements like what Crystal did behind her large photo. So I'm going to try to do it. Now, I don't get as many on as I wanted to. I started losing my striped pattern paper in the background. I didn't want to do that either. So I really ended up not using as many as I thought I was going to use because of all the goodies that I wanted to be seen on the layout. So I wanted my rub-ons to be seen. I wanted my striped paper to be seen. I wanted my labels to be seen. And I definitely don't want to constantly keep covering up a ton of photos, because then they get lost, especially when these photos are super bright. And the Laba D can get lost in all of those circular flowers that I could put on my page. So I did not want to do that. So I limited myself, and then I brought down a lot, I shifted them quite a bit and mostly hid them. So that way I didn't, oh my golly. So that way I did not end up losing my photos, basically, is what I'm trying to say, but yet still bring in that layering piece that I wanted to pull from Crystal's layout. And that really was the inspiration for this entire layout, was all of those circles coming out from behind her photo. And so I really wanted that on mine. But by the time that I was done pulling out all the other inspiration bits from her layout, it ended up to where I didn't get to play with them as much, but I still got some on the layout. So I was super happy about that. I'm going to do a fresh spring day as my title, even though this is February. I'm not, I don't even think February can be classified as spring, can it? That's like March and April, but it's okay. It still goes really well with the photos, the colors, the vibe of this whole layout. And so like I said, I was just using up my stuff and it was a perfect title. So that's what I went with it. Now I am going to scatter some butterflies. I don't think I end up using this pink butterfly. Maybe I do. Nope, I don't. But I am going to scatter the butterflies, and without even realizing it, the green one starts over by the S of spring, and then it kind of floats up into the yellow one above the photo on the left, and then the blue other rub-on above the photo. And I didn't even plan that, but that's how my butterflies are kind of sparsely scattered, but yet they're not in your face butterflies, right? They're not completely, I don't know how to say it. But that is my layout for today. I really had fun putting this messy layout together. I had fun pulling all the inspiration. Crystal's layout had so much goodness scattered in and around her layout. And every time that I went to go look at that layout, I got something else from it. I got the labels, I got the strips of paper, the circular bits coming out from her photo, the multi-layered photo, or multi-matted photo. I mean, just a blast. So Crystal, thank you so much for for letting me be inspired by you today. Don't forget to check out all the links down below for May I Scraplift You, and then of course Janet Fritz's channel over on over on Galaxy Girl Creations, to see what if she's scrapping on a ship today. Also, I'm done, you guys. I am so sorry. Thank you again for hanging out with me, no matter whether I have words or not. I always appreciate it, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.